Take glimpse to liking. Oh boy. Ooh, nice TP. Yeah, like your mechanics are great, honestly.
Thank you.
Like the way that you understand what you need to do in fights and stuff as a 3.4k, that's pretty good. As I'm watching this game, I can see like you're doing things properly. But this is a coaching session with Gabi. What's your MMR, Gabi?
3.4k.
3.4k. Okay, so she's a 3.4k position 5 support player. So we're going to be watching her replay to see what she can improve on and how she can improve. This is going to be catered towards her issues in a way. Like there's going to be some things that she's going to be good at and something she's going to be lacking in. So we're just going to try and like see how we can improve her gameplay. And I'm going to be asking you questions so that you can come to the conclusion on your own more than like me telling you what to do. Yeah, what I mean. That so just be ready to like let me know, your thought process or what you think, is a better choice. This game, she's gonna be playing Disruptor, position 5, probably one of the hardest roles in the game. Can you tell me why you started with a magic stick in this lane?
I always start with a magic stick. I was told to do that.
Always start with a magic stick.
Yes.
I probably wouldn't be doing that. I think it's better to bring magic stick to your lane than to start with magic stick. What you can do instead is you can buy like, let's say, fairy fires and another branch, so you have extra damage, because Disruptor right clicks a lot in the laning stage, right? Because you gotta harass the enemy, and you can see the enemy heroes, they're all like pretty much melee heroes, so you can just keep on harassing them, and if you have fairy fires you can just hit harder, and you can also help deny creeps with that, and at the same time you can also bait people into killing them, like when they're trying to dive you.
Alright.
So that's pretty good. And then later, with your first 200 gold or something, you can bring a magic stick if you want. So you see like Puppy, he does a lot of these kind of builds with like fairy fires and branches, so he has more stats at the start. Generally, like if you see, the only time you really go for magic stick first is like if you're playing against Bristleback or like a Bat Rider, who's going to be casting a lot of spells level 1.
Okay.
Like right now, this guy is a Timber Saw with reactive armor, and you're not getting any charges here, right? But if you had like 5 more damage because of fairy fires and an extra branch, you're gonna be hitting him pretty hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and it's gonna also help you deny, like I said. So here, I'm just gonna go back a little bit to see what you were doing. So here, you see how you're positioned on the left side here?
Yes.
Is there a better positioning that you think you can do as a support?
Probably if I cut that tree, and if I were like in between the trees on the right side.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the particular reason why you want to like stay over here, especially if you're like solo zoning somebody, is so that you don't pull aggro.
Yeah.
And you can just keep chasing them down. As they run down this way, you can also run down this way and keep hitting them from the tree line. And if they run to you, that means the Faceless Void can deny all the creeps.
Okay.
But you see what happened is, because you're not over here and you're over here, the Timber Saw can just sit in the lane and he actually denied your Void's creep. But if you're over here and you're attacking him, then he can't do anything. He will just run away. But what you're trying to do by staying here is making sure that you don't pull aggro in any way. But if you're here, you're 100% not going to pull aggro, and you're going to shove him off the lane. So that's going to be like your big thing on this first wave. And if the Void was able to just micro the lane here, this Timber will probably not even have a lane. The wave won't even be here, right?
Yeah.
If you just push him off by yourself all the way back here. And right now, the lane is a bit pushed, so I guess you're considering to go pull there.
I was pulling, yeah, I was considering pulling. I
First blood.
usually like to stack first and then pull.
Okay. So
It's always really late.
yeah, that makes sense. I think in the current patch, or like right now in Dota, you don't really want to stack and pull, because when you go to stack, you spend 20 seconds stacking, and then you spend another minute waiting for the next wave to actually pull it. During that time, enemy offlaner could have already got a lot from the lane, maybe even shoved the lane out and came to the stack and even farmed that way.
Yeah.
But so what you want to do is, if the lane is pushed, you want to go straight into the pull it up. The wave is going to be here. Hopefully your carry will hold it, and then you would just deny all the creeps.
Yeah, okay.
If you watch ever competitive Dota, you will see like players never stack anymore, the small camps.
Okay.
It's just much more efficient because you get the XP right away without the enemy contesting you, and you spend less time doing nothing where like you're stacking.
Do you connect to the pool? Like you try to connect it with a big camp if you don't manage?
You don't need to, because what's gonna happen is, if you connect it, the other guy was just gonna come, right? But you just gotta assess that like during the situation, if you think it's a good time to pull or not. But most of the time, it's not worth it to pull. You just go back to the lane and start bullying the core again. Your goal is just to get more XP than the enemy. And if you stack pull, the creep wave gets denied, but you don't get any experience for the camp. Because the camp won't even die, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to feel really bad too for you, because you won't get any XP. So here you go back, you single pull because the wave was a bit in front of his tower. I think it was good. And I guess you're trying to connect this. It's not a bad time to connect. Okay. But as you can see, like this, all this happening right now, why he's level 3 is a result of you being in the top left corner here instead of the bottom right here when it was a lone hero in this lane. Because if he actually pushed him off here and the Faceless Void had all the freedom of last hitting creeps over here and denying all the creeps and microing the lane, this Timber would be very, very low level right now. Because Disruptor is actually a really good hero at zoning out Timbersaw on level 1 and 2.
One question. What do you think about Clarities versus Mangoes?
Mangoes are better in the early game. Clarities will be better later. In the early game, you get HP regen from the Mangoes, which help you a lot and give you instant mana. And then Clarities will be better once, like, after 8 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. If you need mana.
Right.
Because you're more like moving around the map. So here, again, the lane push, you pull, I like it. Just focus on getting more experience. The Void should not have any problems laning against Timbersaw. He's not going to die to him in any way. Your goal is to just maximize your experience. The moment that Timber gets level 3, like, you can't really zone him out, right? So just keep focusing on the pulls like you're doing. It's very nice.
Here I fucked up because he was like under tower.
So here...
The lane was,
sorry, what are you saying?
the lane was pushed and I didn't notice it.
Oh, that's okay. You still got XP, but you need to be thinking about the bounty runes now, right? Because he's guy alone. And I like what you did here. You just go for that. It's okay to pull even if the lane is pushed into the Faceless Void, because you can't actually zone out the Timbersaw. If you can zone him out, that's a whole nother story. Then you should focus on zoning if the lane is already frozen here for your carry. But if you can't zone out the enemy offlaner, just keep pulling and just get your XP. Because now you're like almost level 4 at 5 minutes. And it's very good for you. And I like what you're doing. You're moving to plant vision. This is very nice. Trying to farm the camp here.
well, I was like, fuck the police because I knew it was like an alchemist and I knew he wanted that camp.
Right. Ideally, I think the best words to put against Alk would have been like maybe on this hill here very early. So you can see all the camps that he's possibly going to farm, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just go there and like snag a kill on him or that maybe. So here, I think going top lane, is it because the Faceless Void asked you to help him?
Yeah, he told me that he can't lane alone.
Okay. Yeah, this Timbersaw is already level 6. And again, this is a product of whatever happened on the first wave.
Really? Just that one?
Yes, that one move. That one move, this is a product of like your first wave. In the first wave, if you're here and you're right-clicking him and you use Thunder Strike and then you push him all the way back here, this Void will be like first 3 waves, and then he'll get like his Wraith Bands, and this Timber will stand no chance. He'll get every creep denied against the Faceless Void. But now the Timbersaw is just way too strong in this top lane. But yeah, like that's how much impact a support can have in a lane. From doing the right thing. Yeah. And now it feels very annoying, right? Play up against this guy, yeah. So at this point, like, to be honest, your Void probably should have leveled up your Time Walk, but I think it's time for you to maybe go elsewhere and apply pressure because you are playing against an Alchemist. And this Alchemist is gonna farm way too much if you don't like do something. Because Void is irrelevant for you to sit up here anymore. If the lane gets too hard, you can even ask your core, like, hey, can you just go jungle? I'm gonna go apply pressure something. You can't like babysit this guy to like 8 minutes. Just not possible. And you definitely wanted like this vision inside the jungle at some point so that the Alchemist won't be able to farm so freely. I wouldn't say so freely, but you have the potential to go and like mess with him. Does that make sense? Like the only reason your team isn't going into the enemy jungle is because they don't see anything. It's a black map down there, right?
Yes.
So they don't know where the Alchemist is. They don't know how much HP he has if he uses ultimate or anything like that. So after 5 minutes, 6 minutes, when you get the vision, I think, especially since you see an Alchemist, it would have been a really good idea. After you get this rune or whatever, you go and you plant like a ward here, and it would have helped a lot for your team.
Yeah.
To be able to see what he's doing.
Do you advise blocking the Alchemist camps in the triangle? Because that's the most comfortable spot to
Okay, so if you want to block the camps of alchemists, you should definitely buy sentries. But you're gonna be losing a lot of gold doing it, I think. The best thing to do, it's worth maybe blocking one camp, but it's not worth blocking all of his camps. I think the best thing for you to do is get vision out and then play around in the jungle and maybe call your bristleback to like rotate there and just kill him. Because the bristleback does have goo, right? And if Alchemist doesn't have his ultimate, he will die to a bristleback.
Alright.
Yeah, okay. So let's keep watching. And this Timber Saw is just causing so many problems for you guys. Yeah, and now you're dead, and he's making so much space. And when these kind of things happen, you really can't focus the Timber Saw. You gotta go elsewhere. You gotta ignore him. You gotta let him do his thing, and just try to apply your pressure somewhere else in this game. So now you TP bottom. I like it. At least here you can apply some kind of pressure. Glimpse back the Ursa, just being annoying. And you got a catapult here, it's good. So you have a lot of wards now, and there's no vision on the map. I feel like at this stage in the game, you definitely have to get these vision out on the map so your teammates can rotate to these wards. Or like, have some vision of the enemy. And if you have a hard time getting vision out, what you can do is, you can just buy smoke. You can use one smoke early game just to plant wards if you need to.
Okay. Oh, what do you think are the best warding spots if you're playing?
This game you're playing against Alchemist. I think a ward here would have been great. And I think a ward maybe in the jungle even here would be great. Like early game, these wards don't generally get dewarded unless they see you plant the ward.
Okay.
And I think both of these show the camps for a majority of the camps for a long time. And then you can utilize that to make ganks into the enemy jungle. Especially people like to farm with like 300 health on. Like you see how like you're trying to go in to plant vision, but you got stunned and got pushed off. It's because they already see you, because your wards are coming out later than the enemies.
Yeah.
So they already see you. Now you cannot enter the jungle anymore. So the only way to enter the jungle, since you're planting really late wards, is by buying a smoke. And either you smoke with your team, you run into the jungle, but prioritize planting vision. Yeah. That's like pretty much your only play now. And as you can see, like since 5 minutes, you haven't been able to get any vision out. Right? And if you look at your teammates too, they've been stuck like this the entire game because they don't have any vision to see like where the enemies possibly are. So these are like things that can help a lot for your team. So you team back bottom, I like this, where you're just trying to do what you can to apply some pressure.
Yeah. Their chase like, I mean it's a Lycan, so obviously it's gonna be annoying.
So you altered the timber there. Okay. Alright, you guys at least got an Ursa kill. Not bad. Still buying some space for your teammates. Hopefully they can come back into this game. Yeah, the enemy is very, very farmed this game. Holy smokes.
He's way ahead.
Yeah. So now you're alive. You decide to TP to tier 2 to try and help your team out. You have a level 4 glimpse, so you get this guy. That's a very nice kill. I mean, you got pretty good stuff. Like, you got good levels, you got good experience, you cast spells very well. But you gotta prioritize just your wording a little bit more. You gotta understand that any vision that you provide for your team, even if it's like just 10% on the map somewhere random, can be like a lot of information. Your team can understand that, oh, they're not here, that means, you know, they're probably in this other 90% of the map somewhere, right? But when you don't have any vision on the map, then it's like, they can be anywhere, and it's very confusing to make plays after that. These are things you learn as a, you know, a position, as a support that you've been playing, as a support that you play for a long time. Like how important vision truly is. A bunch of clashing happening from both teams. This guy's got a radiance.
Yeah, it's like one of those phases.
I mean, the thing is, like, the way you play, you're really good at moving through the fights and understanding your positioning. You're making it always very hard for the enemy to cast spells on you. And you utilize your team very well. Like right there, how you guys killed Alchemist and the Timber was great, and they were all focusing you. So you really know how to like maneuver yourself in the team fights. Which is very nice. And you're good at like seeing the creep waves that are coming in. So now you plant some vision, right? This ward here. Is that your ward?
No. Yeah, that's mine, and we also have like one in lane, bottom lane.
Okay, yeah. Alright. So you got some defensive wards. I like it. You're behind in the game. You just gotta focus on defensive wards at this time. So early game, it was good if you plant vision here and here, like just because the alchemist is his farming time. But now that you're already behind in the game, it's very nice to plant defensive wards. And I want to mention, like, sentries right now are super OP. Like, they're insanely OP. And in my opinion, in some ways, they're kind of ruining Dota. Not really ruining Dota, but if you're a really good player at planting sentries and understanding how to deward, you can pretty much make the enemy have a black map all the time. So, like, with these wards that you plant, like, you definitely want to be buying just as much sentries as you have wards. So you can, like, pair your wards with sentries all the time. So if the enemy, like, walks in there, plants a sentry, maybe they're smoked, you get to see that they're smoked, right? Because suddenly a sentry pops up on your minimap and you're like, what the hell? Or maybe they have vision there and you get free gold. Because one sentry costs 75 gold. One ward, if you kill it, can give you like 150 gold at this minute in the game. So a lot of your farm can come from that. So sentries have like multi-purpose, you know?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. So what you can do is like you can plant a ward here, then you want to plant a sentry like somewhere down the hill that sees the hill here, but also sees extra area, you know, over here and such. And I generally, that's my rule of thumb. Like, whenever I buy a ward, I buy just as many sentries as I have a ward. And if you don't have wards in your shop, then buy more sentries. Because that means you probably need to use the sentries to deward the enemy. If they can't see you, you can't kill them, right? Because you're not going to go blindly somewhere. It's like the same idea as what happened for the enemy and your team. Your team, at 5 minutes to like 12 minutes, couldn't see anybody on Radiant. Because you didn't have any vision, right? So you guys couldn't go and attack them or kill them. The same way, if you deward the enemy's vision on your side of the map, then they cannot come and stop you from farming.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, yeah. I think that my biggest mistake is that I stick too much to the lane with the carry. Right. I babysit for too long and I don't take care of the vision, as you mentioned. Yeah, you're right.
Right, exactly. So you can just like tell your carry you're going on a warding mission and then you just come back to the lane after that. After you finish warding. Because as a support, once you've done warding, like you planted a vision that you need to plant, then you can do whatever you want. You're free to like cover someone, you're free to like make calls in the game, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
Take glimpse to like and oh boy. Ooh, nice TP. Yeah, like your mechanics are great, honestly.
Thank you.
Like, the way that you understand what you need to do in fights and stuff as a 3.4k, that's pretty good. As I'm watching this game, I can see, like, you're doing things properly, but that's, like, the biggest thing is just positioning in the laning and the warding as of right now. 20 minutes. We'll watch a few more and see what happens. I know it's a pretty long game.
It is. It's a very long molding game.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They're dead for 20 seconds. And your team is getting a bit wrecked.
I was fine with dying there because I think I saved 2 people in that fight. It feels worse, but yeah, it's still upsetting when they can chase for so long and so far.
So now you're alive, you have 4 sentries, 3 wards. You plant a sentry here, you want to see what's up. Now you can plant a sentry down the hill again. So here you see, like, as a support, it's really good when you're playing heroes like Disruptor who have ways to see up the hills and stuff. You want to put a sentry down the hill and use your kinetic field to like go here. So you can, it's like essentially you have 2 sentries. Because if you put a sentry here, it's only getting half the value. Right? So if you put the sentry down here, that also peaks up this hill, then you use kinetic field, and then you can see the ward, and that means you can also find the wards that are here at the same time.
Yeah.
And utilizing that knowledge, you can you know, pretty much outward anybody. And as a support, as a position 5, it's very important that you're always clicking on the guy on the enemy team who is planting vision. So you can see like how many wards he has and then where he's moving towards. So you have like a, you know, a bit of an idea of where he's going to plant the wards.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
makes sense.
exactly. And if you find where he's gonna plant the wards, or you have an idea of where he did plant the wards, and you get rid of that, that's income for you. You get more gold for dewarding it and experience, and at the same time the enemy goes blind. So you're pretty much saving all your teammates from like dying at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this, but if you watch professional Dota, every time a team gets 5-0 wiped out of nowhere, it's because the enemy team was sitting under a ward. So
Yeah.
so someone on the enemy team, like the 4 heroes, like walked into a random ward or something, and then Secret, let's say Secret just decide to jump in and kill all of them with like some Tidehunter Ravage because he sees all the heroes. He sees everybody he needs to go on. He knows where they're all positioned. And that's like pretty much the biggest importance of vision in Dota 2. Like these vision is how you either win a game or you lose a game more than anything else. When it comes to like two very even teams or even players.
Yeah. It allows you to be reactive.
Right. It's like it gives you more knowledge and opportunities to do stuff. And I like how like you don't just straight up put wards on hills and stuff. This ward is pretty nice because you know if the enemy puts a sentry here, they cannot see the ward, right?
Yeah.
I really like those things. Like that you're doing a good job at like doing that too. That's very nice. Because most of the players like in your bracket are not gonna put sentries like down the hill and check the hill and utilize the full extent of the sentry wards. So doing this kind of things is gonna help a lot. Outplaying your enemy and not letting your wards die.
Is under attack.
It's all about min-maxing. That's what I learned on stream.
Yeah, for sure.
Radiant's middle tower.
I feel like I was a little bit too greedy with my items this game. Like I was really trying to get rid of them.
Yeah. Exactly. So as a support, your items are not important in terms of like farming and stuff. It's more important that you always have wards and sentries, and the items will come every time you win a team fight, or you get like a random kill. That's how you normally get items. You don't need to worry too much about like getting items through farming, or like you're 500 gold away from something and you're like, guys, let me farm this. No, 500 gold for a position 5 can literally take you like 4 minutes to farm it, because somebody might just come and kill you. Because you're out of position now,
I just planted the word, and I actually want to ask you what you think about that position, because I usually plant it whenever I have a very mobile hero in the enemy team, like Trend, Protector, or...
Which word? Sorry?
Like, that one. Exactly that one.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
A small king in his own.
It feels like it never gets rewarded. And I'm a little bit unsure still about all the wording places. So.
Yes, these low ground wards are pretty good if you feel like the enemy is constantly dewarding you and your team has no potential of team fighting them. I feel like putting these high ground wards are still good in games where your team is stronger than the enemy, or you have potential to team fight them and your team is ready to protect the wards. This is what I want to mention like about this kind of word. Because this ward only sees like here and here, right? Like it doesn't see like a lot. But if you put a ward here, it'll see like all around here, like everything, even this camp and such, right? And this camp. So like if the enemy walks into like this range, which is like the max area of the ward, then if your team is like always prepared to team fight because you have like a tier 2 tower here, it's super valid, if you know what I mean. Like it's very good. So you don't have to be like too greedy. Sometimes you can put the vision on the high ground if you just want to maximize the ward vision, because you know that your team is ready to fight. The same way, like you see professional teams, they plant wards here as dire. They'll go here and plant wards when they're controlling the enemy, even though that ward will get dewarded once they leave, right? Because this ward is like super hard to kill because they need to like run up these hills to kill it, and you're already controlling the top and mid area of the map. So it's still okay for you to put wards like straight up on these hills, as long as you know that your team is ready to like fight them, or even if you know that the enemy is not going to deward it.
I usually only use those words when we either push or we know that we'll have to defend.
Right.
Because like I know it's gotta get rewarded as you said, but it gives a lot of information during that specific fight that I'm expecting.
Exactly. That's perfect. So what have you been thinking about in this game in terms of like your spell casting? Have you like thought anything specifics You just like casting a Thunderstrike, you know, glimpse the first person you see, combo them.
Dire's middle tower is under
Not
attack.
really. It's about the fact
Dire's
that
structures are falling.
oh, so basically I always try to use my Q when it's off cooldown on
Okay.
enemies, and I try to maximize the glimpse because it gives me time for the kinetic field. And whenever I see a Lycan, pretty much I try to put the kinetic field in because I know he's gonna chase. Or a Timber, I try to keep him outside as much as I can. I think that's pretty visible.
Okay.
Because I need to isolate. I feel like with this hero, sometimes it's more about isolating one enemy from the rest of the team.
Right,
Like, you know, he's gonna tank a lot, so that
Dire's
time.
Yeah, that's perfect.
is under
So
attack.
in this kind of game, like your goal is to pretty much just either static storm this Timber Saw or someone who just need to silence to kill them, right? After the glimpse or such.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like Disruptor is a very straightforward hero where you pretty much just like toss all your spells onto one guy, or you wait for the opportunity where they group up. But against their heroes, like they got a bunch of melee guys and they're not really gonna clump up to one target because they kind of like do their own things in the team fight. So you're not gonna get any like big static storms. But yeah, like I like your choice. I think instead of Aetherlands, I probably would have went for Ghost Scepter this game because you're playing against Lycan and Ursa, just to be able to live longer. I think the most important thing for position 5 supports is one of the reasons why Disruptor is not a top pick right now is because he can't save his allies, right? He doesn't have a save, and that is like kind of problematic. Position 5, because position 5 right now, the strongest position 5s are like Witch Doctor, Chen, Enchantress. Then you have like Oracle. These guys who can like heal up their allies or they can save their allies in some way. So Disruptor is like a very aggressive position 5. So as aggressive position 5, you might want to consider buying items that can help your team, like Glimmer Cape, right? Which is very good too. Lycan probably has Necronomicon in this game, so Ghost Scepter is good because if he doesn't purge you, it's hard for them to catch you anyway. And if he purges you, then you click your Ghost Scepter, then you can live longer. So the longer it takes for them to kill you and chase you, the more time your cores have to kill the enemy.
Yeah.
So the Aetherlands, like,
Yeah, I felt
exactly. So Aetherlands is a good item and all, but it's more like a position 4 item in this kind of game for a Disruptor.
Yeah, makes sense. I felt like it really, I don't know, I had the feeling this game that I was supposed to be able to reach out to the enemies because I was against a Lycan who just runs away. I was against an Ursa who is also very fast. I was against an Alchemist that if he ults, he can run away as well. So I really tried to make sure that I had the Aetherlands fast to put them in a vulnerable
makes
spot.
sense.
That was my thought process. Maybe it's not the best.
I want to just say, like, this game, you're not ahead. If you're ahead, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
If you're behind, your goal is to just stay alive and try to keep your teammates alive. Aetherlands is not
Yeah.
going to help you do that, right? In any way. Like, it's good, sure, to catch them and all, but your guys are like, you know, just trying to stay alive, and you have no problem catching people anyway if like you're grouped up. Your spells have like 1,800 cast range. An additional 250 cast range is not going to change for them. Right, so I think like this at least for me, from my experience, when you play position 5, just try to buy team items or ways to keep yourself alive or your teammates alive. I think in the past, Glimmer Cape was like the best item in Dota when it had like 900 cast range for support for a position 5 to buy. But now it's like lower cast range, so it's not as good, but it's still very good regardless.
I like it when there's a lot of magic damage in the enemy team. Something that didn't really happen in this one. I felt like Ghost Scepter. I really had the feeling that the Ghost Scepter should have been my first item in that game, and I really felt ready. But yeah, I had the recipe, and you know our mentality. If I already bought this, I might as well just finish it.
Makes sense. Yeah, like I mean, overall, just looking at the first, because I think this is like the most impact you have as a position 5, and this is the most important thing to do. I would say like you can prioritize more on putting wards on hills, fine, especially when you're like starting to move outwards on the map. I think like hill wards are very OP as well. But yeah, any other questions you have in regards to like your early mid game already that we've already covered or that we haven't covered?
Yeah, so this game, it was obvious that I lost the lane. in the case in which you actually win the lane very, very hard, and it feels like the carry can just stay alone for like
Yeah.
minute 3, he's just fine.
Yes.
He's like 1 level or 2 ahead already. What am I
So
supposed to do
if
as
you're
part?
if at 3 minutes normally, okay, if a carry can stay alone, you can just pull again, and then get some XP,
Yeah.
and then for 4 minutes you can already go to the top rune, right? Make sure you can help your mid lane like secure runes. You should always check the enemy mid laner if he needs runes too, so you can steal that away from them. And then after that, you can just go to the enemy safe lane and apply pressure there. And if you can apply pressure there, you think like it's not worth it, you can still stay in the safe lane and just keep pulling, get experience, and then like look to make a move somewhere else on the map. Maybe you can go mid, throw some spells on them, be annoying, right? And then all of a sudden you might just randomly pick up a kill. Or you go to the enemy safe lane, throw some spells, be annoying, right? You have a few options there.
Yeah.
And then obviously like after level 3 or whatever, or 3 minutes, there's a lot coming up. There's a 4-minute power rune coming up. There's 5-minute bounty runes coming up. And you need to put vision up after the 5-minute bounties as well. Or even before the 5-minute bounties if you want. So you have 3 different things that you have to take care of after you win your lane for your core.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's when I'm lost. I feel like I just pull too much when the lane is won. I don't know. Before this, it felt like it was very, very worth, because most of the times I was able to clear our
Right.
creep wave completely, so the enemy wouldn't get any
Right.
experience.
So
But yeah, feels like I could give more space to the carry if everything is going
Right.
fine.
makes sense. Because you want him to get more experience by himself, right? So he can keep snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so always think as a position 5 after you do your laning stage. Okay, are runes spawning? Are bounty spawning? Is there vision? Is there wards in the shop that I need to plant? You know, these are the things that you want to think about. And at 3 minutes, you can already start bringing like 2 wards out already that are going to be in the shop available. So you can already, by 4 minutes, you get the check the power rune, and then you can just go plant vision before the bounties even come. Or after the bounties come, you can also plant vision, right? So those are your options that you have.
Yeah.
And just always think about it, because there's always something you can do. And if you're not doing that, then you can stack, right? You can go and stack 2 camps. Like you can go here, you can stack this camp, and you can stack this camp if you need to. And then that can give a lot to, let's say, your mid laner who might be struggling instead. And that can make him come back into the game too. Or your core, your snowballing core can go and pick it up. Either way. There's a lot to do in Dota, for sure. As long as you keep looking at the timer at the top, you will know exactly what your next move is.
Yeah, it's a lot. One last question. If I have a very greedy core, let's say PL or Naga, who really, really want to leave at some point, let's say when they reach level 4 or 5, they usually want to go to the jungle, in my experience. Even if the lane is okay, can I stay in that lane and get some experience for myself?
It really depends. Like in your bracket, you can stay in lane, you can get XP, you can be as greedy as you want. It's not a problem. I think what you want to do though is like if you want to leave the safe lane because someone's jungling, make sure the catapult dies. If the enemy catapult dies first, or you push the lane out, then you can TP somewhere else. Because creep waves only come every 30 seconds, right? So if let's say the enemy creep wave somehow goes into your tower, and then you kill the creep wave in your tower, then you can TP out somewhere else before there's pressure that's gonna come into that lane, and you can like fight somewhere else with your team if you want.
Let's get this scenario. The safe lane, my safe lane, and my off lane are both struggling very hard against the enemy. The off lane feels like it's losing more than my safe lane, but I know that if I leave, I'm exposing my core. What am I supposed to do in this situation?
You gotta pull. You gotta pull. If your safe lane is losing for some reason, try to focus on getting pulls off. So there's less XP going to the enemy, and also your carry can just farm under the tower.
But I do stay in the safe lane. I don't go to help the off lane.
Well, you can't really help another lane that's already losing, right? You don't have one, you don't have levels, and 2, you're bringing another weak hero into a weaker lane than the enemies. So you can't really get kills unless you know that your hero is the lane changing hero that can kill the enemy.
Okay. So only if I'm sure that I can punish their safe lane.
Yeah, if only you know that you can bait the enemy to go on your guys, and then you can turn the fight around.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Like say a lion, for example. If the enemy has like a monkey king and your offlaner is like a clockwork and the monkey goes on your clockwork, then your position 5 lion who TP's bottom, sure, you can turn the fight around, right? You just hex him, you stun him, then you kill the monkey king, something like that. just to give an example.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But most of the time, if you're struggling in the safe lane, like you just gotta pull. Like pulls do so much, right? They give you XP. They put the creeps under the tower for your carry to farm, and the enemy doesn't want to really hit the hero under the tower either.
Gold.
So you can get a lot
Yeah.
from that.
Gold and
I like
sweet.
pulling, so that's fine.
You like what?
I like pulling. It feels like I don't know.
Yes, it's great.
One of the first things I learned. So
For sure, for sure. It's actually really, really good.
yeah.
Alright, you good?
I am great. Thank you for this.
No problem. It was fun. And let me know if you have any other questions in the future.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be annoying in the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything.
Yep. Alright guys, that was our coaching session with Gabi, 3.4k support player. If you like our content, or if you guys have any questions, you can always come on our Twitch chat and ask us. We do stream 6 days a week. 4k inbound, Gabi. Come
Yeah,
on, step it
we'll
up.
see.
Go play some pubs.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. With
Okay.
this campaign, nobody plays ranked.
Alright. Have a nice day. I'm gonna go ahead and play some rank now.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
This is Gabby's guild. This is the guild that she left us for. Look at that.